Hello and welcome to today's video where we're going to cover the career of Froggen, an inductee into my League of Legends Esports Hall of Fame on my Discord, voted on by my Discord. The rules and all that are there if you'd like to participate. If you're watching this video a year from now, then, the 14th class, I believe, will be up for vote. But Froggen was voted into the third class this past summer. He played from 2012 to 2020, a European mid laner. He had 138.45 Hall of Fame points over his career. That is an accumulation of stats, results, accolades, both given officially and then given by me. And we will go over that in his career. Froggen, similar to Score, so the Score's video was yesterday. A player that really didn't have a lot of opportunities internationally, but is considered to be one of the best in his region all time. Most played champion is Anivia, and he far and away is the Anivia player. He was the only one with over 20 games played. I think he had 55, and the second most, according to Leaguepedia, was Rapid Star, I think with 11. I could be wrong. Second, Ari, 5th all-time in games played, and third, Victor, 9th all-time in games played. Very wide champion pool. These three champions only accounted for 23% of his games played over his entire career. In terms of win rate, his Karthus mid, best win rate. Only he and Reggie played over 20 games of Karthus mid, and Froggen had an 85% win rate on it. Second, Ari, 60% win rate, 10th all-time. And third, Twisted Fate, 57%, 13th all-time. Goes to show you just how much he struggled, I guess, in the win-loss column over his career, that we don't even have three champions above 60%. KDA, his best champion was Ari at 559, which is 8th all-time. Second, Anivia, 549, which is first because he's the only one that qualifies. And then third, Karthus mid, 521 first. So, needless to say, he had the best Anivia ever thus far. And he also could very well have the best Karthus ever. Very least, Karthus mid is pretty much his. And then the Ari also, 5th all-time in games played, top 10 in KDA and win rate. So, he was very good at that champion as well. Froggen, very talented player. One of the better damage dealers, honestly. So he started his career at 18 years old playing for CLG Europe in the Champions League. And in 14 games in summer, he'd have a 6.65 KDA, which was second in the tournament. That includes Korean mids. That includes Chinese mids, I even believe, and North American mids. So very good, world class, in an 80.5% KP, which was also second. In the playoffs, he would have a 975 KDA, 795 CS per minute, and that would get him into Worlds. And at Worlds in 9 games, he'd have a 377 KDA and an 837 CS per minute, which was second at the event. He would have 45 Hall of Fame points that year because of the results and doing well when he did play. And, unfortunately, that was only one of his 2 years that he ended up getting to play internationally. At 19 years old, he'd play for EG. So look, we have CLG, EG, two teams that, would be more known for their North American prowess. In 2013 spring with Evil Geniuses, in 28 games, he had a 559 KDA in mid, which was first among European mids. 773 CS per minute, 74.6 KP, which was second. 24.1% gold share second. One of the more higher resources mids I think I've seen when I've really looked at the stats closely. Very carry oriented. He was strong, to say the very least. However, in the playoffs, in 8 games, he'd have a 646 KDA, 869 CS per minute, 82.4 KP. One of the higher, I wouldn't even say facilitator. They fought around Froggen. A lot of this 80s, high 70s % KP, like. The teams that Froggen were on were like, hey, let's fight around Froggen. Let's get Froggen Froggen resources and let him do his thing. 82.4 KP, like I said, and over 26% of the team's gold in 8 games. Summer, he would return in 31 games, have a 4.36 KDA, first once again. 8 CS per minute was second, 74.5 KP also first. However, in the playoffs, EG were unable to go to Worlds. In 8 games, it wasn't because of Froggen. 5.25 KDA, 8.82 CS per minute, 68.9 KP, 25.9% of the gold. So they fed him. He didn't die. Well, they didn't get to go to Worlds. He had only 12.37 Hall of Fame points. He would then leave EG. Oh, sorry for kicking this. Let's make sure it is still on the screen here. He only played with one team for 2 splits. It's 2 years on here, so that's why he's in orange. But in 2014, he joined Alliance in Europe, and in 28 games in spring, dominated. So 4.4 KDA, first, 8.6 CS per minute, second, 69.7 KP, first, 644 damage per minute, second, 32.8 damage share, first, 23.6 gold share, first, 15 solo kills, third. Now, based on the Hall of Fame numbers, now, I didn't actually think to myself, hey, you should probably write down who you're picking as all-stars and things until after 2016, when 2016 started. So I'm going to assume, and I did give people points before that, but I just didn't write down who I was giving points to. So he probably was an all-pro, that split for me. 8 games in playoffs, not quite as great KDA-wise, 2.8, but 9.1 CS per minute, 74.6 KP, 626 damage per minute, 35% of the share, 23.7 gold share, 3 solo kills. Carry. 2014 summer, the only split that Froggen won. 28 games, 7.3 KDA, first, 8.7 CS per minute, third, 80.2 KP, first. That's 4 out of every 5 kills, by the way. 597 damage per minute, third, 30.1% of the damage share, 23.4% of the gold share, third, 7 solo kills. In the playoffs, they would do well. In 8 games, they would win the split in the entire championship. 6.4 KDA, 8.9 CS per minute, 81.6 KP, 699 damage per minute. So his damage per minute was 100. 31.4% of the damage share, 24.4% of the gold share. At Worlds 2014, he did very well. I assume I gave him all pro points for that. Despite only playing 6 games and I think going 3-3. Amongst mids at the tournament that played like 5 games at least. Second in KDA, 5.1. First in CS per minute, 8.9. 70 KP, 488 damage per minute, which is a lot less, over 200 less than he had in the playoffs, but still led in share. 36.6% of Alliance's damage share came from Froggen at Worlds, and he had a solo kill per game. And that was it for his international performances. He'd have 41.5 Hall of Fame points that year. And then at 21 years old in 2015, he joined Elements. In 18 games, had a 4 KDA, 8.1 CS per minute, 77.5 KP, which was first, and a 23.6 gold share, which was third. Would not go to the playoffs. In 2015 summer, in 18 games, his KDA would drop to 3.2. CS would go up to 9, which was third. 70.5 KP, once again first. 742 damage per minute. And 24.6% gold share, which was second. So another excellent split, though he would not go to the playoffs. And that became a thing also. Not only did he not go international, but he didn't have a lot of playoff games in his career either after these first 3 years. And that would be the end of his European Tier 1 career. In 2016, he would import out to Echo Fox, and that is the only team he played for 2 years. In 2016 spring, in 12 games, he had a 5. He was actually first All-Pro 2016 in NA for mid for me. 5.4 KDA third, 9.2 CS per minute second, 83.2 KP second, 593 damage per minute, 35.5% of the damage share first. 23.9 gold share, only 2 solo kills. He'd return in summer and do well once more, ending up second All-Pro, but not going to the playoffs. In 42 games, he had a 2.7 KDA, which is literally half as much as it was in spring. CS would drop to 8.7, KP 74.2 was first. 617 damage per minute, once again over 35% of a team's damage, first. 23-4 gold share, 11 solo kills, third. He'd have nearly 8 Hall of Fame points that year. He had almost 18 the year before with Elements. I think that just goes to show you just how well he was played relative to other mids in his region, that he didn't even go to playoffs, and he was still racking up some decent Hall of Fame point totals. And, I mean, it's pretty clear Froggen, like Score, was in a situation where he was held back by his teammates, but this is only the first 5 years of his career, now on to the last 3. All right, so his second year with Echo Fox was in 2017. Because they struggled so much in 2016, he had to play in promos. In 11 games, he had a 4.6 KDA, 9.1 CS per minute, and 83% KP. That's like 5 out of every 6 kills. That's incredible. 633 damage per minute, 33.6 damage share, 23 gold share, 3 solo kills. 2017 spring, everything would just continue for him. 43 games played. He would be third team All-Pro, I believe. 3.9 KDA, third. 8.8 CS per minute, 69.6 KP, first. 622 damage per minute, first. 31.4% of his team's damage, first. 23.1% of the gold share, third. 15 solo kills. 2017 summer, 38 games played, 3.1 KDA, not as strong, but 9.2 CS per minute, went up. Second, 69.7 KP, 720 damage per minute. First, imagine 720 damage per minute in 38 games. That's insane. 37.8% of the damage share. First, how often are you going to find a mid laner? I don't even think, like, we could look at 2017. I am curious if anybody in all 4 major regions in mid were pulling 35% KP. I mean, 35%. Everyone's pulling 35% KP. 35% damage share. 23.5 gold share. 24 solo kills first in the region. 7.87 Hall of Fame points, though, because the guy didn't go to the playoffs. The guy didn't go international. Team sucked, which is why his share is so high. But at the same time, the DPM is high, so it's warranted that the share would be high. Now, after that, though, in 2018, he would go away. He played in ERLs for a year, I think with Origin, and never go to the LEC. So because of that, his year, age 24 year, no point in putting it on here. We don't talk about minor tier 2 stuff. So at 25 years old, he returned to the LCS and played with Golden Guardians. In spring, he played 19 games, had a 3.1 KDA, 8.6 CS per minute, 66.6 KP. So in this year and a half span, he did drop off a bit. We'll see his CS numbers are down about a half of CS, but 607 DPM, first, 31.7 damage share, second, 21.9 gold share, and led in solo kills with 9, and actually went to the playoffs. First time since he won in 2014 that you could say Froggen went to the playoffs. It took almost 5 years, 4.5 years for that to happen. 4.9 KDA, 8.7 CS per minute, 61.6 KP, 6.15 damage per minute, 36.5% of the share, 21.9 gold share, 3 solo kills in those 5 games. In summer, 19 games, he would end up actually being third team All-Pro in 2019 summer. 3.5 KDA, 8.5 CS per minute, 76.3 KP, first, 560 damage per minute, first, 28.1 damage share, 22.5 gold share, 3 solo kills. 2020, he'd play for Dignitas. 20 games, 4.8 KDA, third, 8.5 CS per minute, 72.6 KP, first once again, 533 damage per minute, second, 30.3 damage share, second, 22.6 gold share, 7 solo kills, second. PoE was the guy with more damage than him in 2020. And if you recall, I think that was his, I don't know if that was with Optic or CLG, but I think we can recall, or it was Immortals, because he played for Immortals before CLG, right? You know, PoE was the hard carry for those teams. And in summer, he would play sparingly, 6 games, 2.5 KDA, 8.7 CS per minute, 76.8 KP, 374 damage per minute, 27% of the damage share, 22.8% of the gold share. You could see how bad the team was, because if he had under 400 DPM and it still was 27%, that's a solid secondary carry damage share. Arguably, borderline, you could say that AD carry and mid are you know, carrying at the same time in the way that neither one is like massive, like 35% or something. But when it's under 400, it's like, oh, this team sucked. And I mean, it was Dignitas. Dignitas has sucked for the majority of their existence, especially in their return to LCS. 1.5 Hall of Fame points, 4.19 in 2019. You know, it's unfortunate, really. Like I said, it's about a lot like Score's career. Froggen played very well. He is one of the hardest carries I've ever seen stat-wise. You know, this is, you know, I started watching League in 2018 because I'm an Optic Gaming fan. Through and through Optic Gaming. And when they joined League of Legends, that's when I started watching League of Legends. So when I go over these players' careers, that's why it interests me, like going over these stats, thinking about these players and things like that. I didn't watch them play. Now, not many people watching these videos, which is unfortunate. But I think I'm learning something even going over it with you in this video, and I hope I'm teaching you something about how good these players actually were. And if you know a lot about stuff like this and you don't have extreme bias, participate in the voting in the Hall of Fame. There's no, you know, as long as you don't have bias and you're willing to learn about the players, even from minor regions that were successful, that you don't, you know, that you don't know a lot about and you respect, participate in the voting. You know, I think it's a good time. But that's it for this video. If you like the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.